So kia ora guys, as I mentioned, this is finding a product to sell number one. Hopefully you have all read the 4 emails. After you finish the comfort challenges, 4 more emails came out. If you haven't, go through your junk mail, look for that. And if you still can't find them, send an email to kahao, K-A-H-A-O at twh.co.nz, twh.co.nz. And some of my team will pick that up and sort that out for you. But in it, one of the emails talks about finding products. And I'll give you,
can I get the email, please?
Yeah, it is K-A-H-A-O at twh.co.nz. Kahao at twh.co.nz.
Thank you.
No problem. Can everyone mute their sound too, so that we don't have background noise coming in, please? Okay, cool. So I just want to share some things. So first thing I want to just make real clear is this isn't multi-level marketing. It's not a quick get rich quick scheme. It does take effort and time, and realistically, in my experience of doing this many years, you will need 12 to 24 months to really get it working, humming along. You can get early wins. Some of you guys will get early wins, but generally I find it's between 12 to 24 months. So I want to set that perspective. Today is the beginning of a journey. And so the commitment is not just, hey, kahao, at the end of it, I'm going to be rich. No, it's just, you'll be set up and we'll begin the journey to continue for over a year, maybe 2 years. The level that I'm sharing this at today, for those that are more advanced, is this is sort of level 1. There are many levels. You'll level out. If you stay the relationship with us over time, you'll keep leveling up. And to give you a sense of today's level 1, but then we're also working with multi-million-dollar businesses who have e-commerce teams, and we're working with their teams to do everything in e-commerce, which is quite broad. So we can level up multiple levels. The main point is that we can take you to a very advanced level where you're studying algorithms and you're influencing things such as that. But today is about level 1. The second thing is organize your time. So there'll be a whole lot of actions that'll come off the back of this. What we see is those that succeed, they organize their time. They use a calendar of some form and they plan a set aside a time that's for them, as opposed to with spending time and then just trying to wing it as you go. Generally, we find that's hard for a lot of people, is to wing it and not have that planning. Another point is there are many paths up the maunga. So to get to the goal of growing our household incomes, there are many ways to do that. We're just one way. So that's an important thing. There are other ways, but if you do it our way, we know our system works. So with the kahao, we'll teach you a system, we'll help you build that system, and we'll help you launch it. And at the end of it, we'll generate the first $200 alongside you to prove that our system works. Okay, cool. Okay, we've got a lot of people, and what the challenge that a lot of people have is that they have a lot of questions. And I just want to talk, I never went to school. So I didn't have got any university. I dropped out of high school. I went to eat my lunch basically and play rugby. And then sort of what I learned is there are other ways to learn. And for me, that wasn't traditional academia, wasn't the way, my path. But now what is working for me now and how I learn, how I taught myself e-commerce, I don't come from e-commerce at all. I came from another area, is I use Google and YouTube universities. So if there's this magic thing out there, and it's like, it's unbelievable. It's this box, and you can write any question in this box and the answer magically appears. And that is like Google or YouTube. It's so true. Like whatever question you've got, put it into the magic box and your answer will arrive, and just screen through and read that and you'll find the answer. So that's an important thing, because along this process, you'll be learning lots of new things. And we've been conditioned to not even think like all the answers are out there. We've been conditioned to ask a question when actually we can go and get that answer ourselves at any time. And a lot of the content that I'm going to explain to you are from others who are on Google or YouTube University. So that's the big smart cut. You'll hear me talking about it over and over and over. The last thing I want to talk about is effort. At the end of the day, your success is up to you. We don't have, we're not magical and have some unicorn powers. We can share from our experiences making a million mistakes that cost us a lot of money to learn, and just share what worked and what didn't work for us. And ultimately what we see from past alumni, those that succeeded, it only came down to effort, not how much money they had, not where they started, who their parents were, like what resources they had. They had none of that ultimately mattered. They compensated by effort, and effort means saying no to other things and distractions, and then putting your time in to do the additional work to solve whatever problems you've got. It really does come down to that effort. So that was an interesting insight. And that's when we were searching for you guys all worthy to be here, because you have all demonstrated effort in the comfort challenges. To be here today, you're in the top 25%. We had over 800 applications for the scholarships. Majority of them didn't make it. Majority of them don't make it through the comfort challenges, and they give up. And they give up for a wide range of reasons, but like you guys have demonstrated effort. So we want you to keep making that effort. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the product side of things. I'm going to move through this quite quickly. But just remember, you don't spend too much time writing notes here, just like try and absorb it, try and make some key notes. So just key points that stand out, like, oh, that's an interesting insight, because I'm going to give you a copy of the video and I'll give you the copy of the presentation so that you can review it later on. So there are 5 suggested options with e-commerce. E-commerce is just a fancy way of saying making money online or doing business online. It stands for electronic commerce. There are many types of products, and I've experimented with lots and lots of them over the last 8 years of doing this. And the ones that I recommend if you're beginning, and you are the 5 that I've put here, and they're in the email. The further description is in those emails that are sent out. One is selling a coaching service. What that is everyone has an expertise in something, and you don't have to be an expert of being a PhD or having done something for a decade. You just have to be an expert, for someone who's
folded the 3 good ones.
Huh? Sorry. Maybe if you can hold your questions until the end, and then I can answer those, or raise your hand. Vino, I can see you've come up. I'll come to you soon. So there are 5 suggested options. And of those options, there are 3 that I would recommend out of all of them. And the reasons why is they're faster, easier, lower cost than the others. Coaching service is lower cost because that's you selling your expertise to someone that's 3 steps behind you. We all have expertise in something. I've got expertise in e-commerce, or I've got an expertise in business growth. Other people will have expertise in relationships. Other people have expertise in carving. Other people will have expertise in fishing, caring for whānau. I mean, there's a wide range of expertise. So I recommend this as one of the easiest ones to do, because you can sell, it intimately, you must be an expert at it. You've done it a million times. So selling your service to that. Today, I'm going to break this down deeper and unpack this, the coaching service model, to you and how you put it together. Next week, I'll do selling someone else's products or service, which is the number 2 there. Selling someone else's products and service, that's an easy one as well. So if you've got friends or whānau that are in business, it's going, hey, can I sell your products and service? And can you sell it to me at a discounted rate? And the language they use for that is wholesale rate in business. And you would sell that for some profit. And you would continue to do that. The advantage in that model is you don't have to create too much. It's already existing. Ideally, your friends or whānau, they've got a business, so therefore they've got photos of the product they've got or service. They've got a description of the product or service. So you don't have to create those. It makes it a lot faster. They've probably got financial services that help them do their product or service. They've probably got customer reviews from the past if they're already selling products or service. So it does make it easier if you sell someone else's product or service. The third one there is print on demand. Print on demand is, it really does suit if you're an artist or a creative or a designer and you don't like personal contact, face-to-face discussions with people, then this is a really good model, print on demand. Print on demand is where you create your designs, and it might be a photo of a design, it might be a carving, it might be some slogan that you have, and you take those and you put it on, you print it onto different things, everything from water bottles, bags, shoes, hoodies, track pants, like white wallets, iPad cases, covers, phone covers, a wide range of things. And the way it works is you do the sales and marketing of your designs. So you take your design, you upload it to your website, you connect your website to another organization that prints your designs on products. And you do the sales and marketing. And when you get an order, your website communicates directly to the printer to take out of their stock a hoodie and print your design on it. And then the printer will send it out to your customer. So that makes it a lot simpler because you're only doing the sales and marketing. You don't have to do the hoodie manufacture. You don't have to do the shipping and handling, the customs duties. You don't have to do the product returns. You don't have to do the warehousing. You don't have to do the sending it out. You know, all those things you don't have to do. So that's quite a good one model if you're into creative side of things. The fourth one is an ebook.
One thing I want to ask, like this, like when we are doing these services, like you can say selling things, and on like a Facebook or drop shipping. I have account with drop shipping, but I never did it because this is the first time. So does it help out like with some amount of like support or any help with this, like doing this thing?
Yes, that's why there's questions at the end.
Yeah, so maybe just hold the
Please.
questions until the end. Write your questions down. Otherwise, what we'll do is that'll interrupt it for everyone.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Just keep it to the end, and then we can do that. Vinu, just while we've got a break here, do you want to ask your question because you've got your hand raised?
No, in the end, I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll go back to it. So ebook, what is that? That just means an electronic book. The easiest way to think about it is a digital copy or a PDF, if those that know what a PDF is, it is where you write your expertise down in a book, but you don't make a physical book with a cover. You just turn it into something called a PDF, which is, and the advantage about that is it's really low cost to send out. And once you've created it, you can sell it while you're sleeping. Whereas like coaching time, the problem with coaching time is you've got to be there. So an ebook is quite a good way to do it. And there's some tricks to that, and we can drop into some of those tricks or hacks and ways to do that. But simply, an ebook is a product version of coaching. And you'll see what I mean when I drop into it. I'm not going to talk so much about that along this journey. I think that's something we can pick up. I've only got time to really go deep into these top 3 products. Today, I'm only going to talk about one coaching service, and you'll see I get down to very specific how to do it. The last one is drop shipping. Drop shipping just means where you find a product that is selling from a competitor. So you look online and say you're into the fishing, you go to your competitor's website, you find the best-selling fishing equipment that they've got that they're selling. And then you would find someone in China using a website called Alibaba is one way to do this. And you would find a similar product, and you would set up with that manufacturer in China to send that product to your customer. So what happens, it'll be similar like print on demand. You would set your website up, you would sell the picture or the product. You would, when you got a sale, you would get your credit card out, and then you would pay for the one in China, and the Chinese manufacturer would send it from China to wherever your customer is in the world. That's called drop shipping. There's some with all these, there's some tricks to it. It's a difficult one because there's such a lot of competition in drop shipping, but it's a great one because you don't have to carry stock, which is, so it's cheaper to do. You don't have to do the manufacturing, all those sort of things. The challenges to that model is the delivery times. So the delivery coming from China, you're talking a couple of weeks. And these days, people want things like within 5 days maximum, so so there's challenges. And if they don't get it in those 5 days, then what happens, you get bad reviews, customer reviews, and that impacts your ability to convert sales. Okay, so those are the 5 products. I'm going to go into the next one, which is coaching service. So this is the process that I'm going to teach you. There are 6 parts to it. The first thing is you're going to identify something that you do well and you enjoy doing, finding a passion. For example, I'm going to use the example of like baking a cake, baking rewana, baking fry bread, baking something as an example. Could be fishing, could be whatever you enjoy. So the main thing is you want to enjoy it. And you've done it before. You've done it lots and lots of times. So you're an expert in it. The second thing is I want you to do is writing down each step of your process. So as if you're teaching your whānau, like there are steps like baking a cake. First of all, you need all the ingredients, and then you put the flour in the bowl, 30 grams of flour, and then you need 50 grams of lots of butter, and then so forth. So that's what you want to do. You want to write all those steps. And the reason why you want to write all the steps down is what someone is paying you for is they are at point A. So imagine the alphabet, and they're trying to get to Z. The Z is they've got make as rewana bread. And along, so A, B, C, D, there's all these steps. What they're paying for you is for you to get them to Z. So you want to have your process of how you get them, step them along the way to get to Z, if that makes sense. So when you're coaching, a big part of it is to be conscious about all the steps that you need to get them to the Z, if that makes sense. And that is what you're ultimately selling. So that's why I want you to write down each step in your process as if you're teaching your whānau. Okay, then the third thing I want you to do is we're going to research competitors, and we're going to look at competitors to learn about what they're doing, and we're going to copy and pimp. We're going to copy 80% of what they're doing, the successful ones, and we're going to innovate or adapt or change 20%. Because we're going to learn from people who are successful, who are already doing this, and they're doing this well. They're making money. That's because that's smarter to do that, because then we're not wasting our own money making mistakes. So we're going to do a bit of research, custom research. Then the second thing we're going to research is frequently asked questions, FAQs. And the reason why we're going to do that is because that helps us to understand what are the problems of the customer that we're trying to sell it to. What problems are they interested in solving? And I'm going to show you a smart cuts to how to do that. Then you're going to identify in your process that you wrote down, those steps of baking the cake from getting A to Z, you will have some smart cuts, some way that you guys have done this differently. And you might have come, when you were starting out, you might have come to some sort of challenges in doing whatever your process is. Say it was baking a cake. It might be, if with the rewa bread, for example, you might be taught to put sugar in to make it sweeter. But then there's some who swear that you don't need sugar. And the smart cut is to make it messy is not to put sugar in, despite what everyone else is saying, because there's already sugar in the mix, in the bug. And so that's an example of identifying those, for you to identify those, and we'll call them smart cuts. And the reason why those are important is because that's the gold that people pay you for. That's the unique thing that you can charge a premium for, is for your smart cuts to solve problems that they're going to experience and doing your process from A to Z. So identify that yourself. Then the last thing you're going to do is, once we've done all that, is you're going to practice filming yourself, teaching your whānau the process, step A, B, C, D. Okay, cool. That's the method. That's what I'm going to teach you today. 6 of those areas. I'm going to go down, break that down even further, step by step. So, coaching service. Step 1, we talked about identify something that you do well and enjoy doing. So it's very important. When you say do well, when you're looking for something to do, there's many options. Do well means saving time. Doing well means making something easy or saving money. So look, when you're looking at amongst your things that you do, your hobbies or your skills, what's some skill where I save people time, or I do something in a way that makes it easy, or I save money? So that's what do well looks like. And it's thinking about that when you're searching for it. Enjoy doing. So that's really, really important. And why it's important is because most people give up. You know, I talked about we had 800 plus applicants apply for the program. Most of them gave up. So you've got to find something you enjoy doing, because it'll come, you will face challenges regularly. And so you want to be passionate about what you're doing. Don't do it for money either. Money is a byproduct of passion, of doing something you love. It'll come, money will come if you just do the system right, money will come, but if you do a really good job for your customers, that's how you grow. So I want you to make a list of all your options and then choose one to research further. So that's the first task. Remember, this is all on video, so you can get this later. The hacks to doing this, if you can't come up with some ideas, then I want to show you, you can go to this, click on this. It's a site called Wikipedia, and search for list of hobbies. And this will just help you to give some ideas. I've already got that one prepared, list of hobbies. So you can go to Wikipedia. Can you guys see that? Thumbs up if you can. Yeah, okay, cool. So you can go to list of hobbies, which is, you search on Google, search for, I'll give you the link. It'll take you straight to this page. And then if you can have a look, there's just like loads and loads of different hobbies. You can look down this and go, you know what? Okay, cool. I do writing, creative writing. So that could be what I could teach others, how to do creative writing. Or it could be, I'm a mechanic, so I do mechanical stuff well. So I teach you, and you can teach people how to be a good mechanic, or so forth, or social media, or leather crafting, or there's all sorts of things. Lego building, waxing, music, nail art. There's so many different things. Anyway, this is just a big list of different things that you can look through and go, oh, okay, cool. I've got some skills there. So that's one hack. The second hack I've got for you is to try and identify a skill, an area that is in one of these three groups, or one of these three clusters: wealth, health, or relationships. Wealth is everything to do with saving money, making money, whether it doesn't matter what area, whether it's real estate or whether it's share market, whether it's crypto, whether it's entrepreneurship, that's all sits in the wealth. Health is everything from mental health, physical health, spiritual health, like all the different areas of health and well-being sit there. The last one is relationships, how you communicate with people, whether it's to your kids, raising good kids, whether it's having those tough conversations, whether it's how you deal with your, a relationship with your parents or siblings or whatever. Like, find those. And the reason why in those areas, they're what you call evergreen clusters. Evergreen cluster is like the trees that are evergreen, they're always relevant. Those areas of health, wealth, and relationships are always relevant to people. They will, if you're selling something in those niches, you increase your chance of success because people always have these problems and that you're going to solve: wealth, health, or relationships. They're in one, or maybe all. So that's another tip looking there. When you're looking at it and you go through the research, which I'm going to show you soon, you want to choose a service or coaching area that has less competitors. You want some competitors. Any area that has no competitors, you really got to be asking yourself, can you make money there? There's something wrong with that. You want competitors, but you don't want too many competitors. So anyone that tells you I got no competitors, I would be like running a mile away from that. You want competitors. So that's important because you want to learn. You want to learn from the top ones, copy and pimp. Okay, so, and then another big thing, which we're seeing with other alumni, is choosing a service or coaching area that you can sell to people who can afford at least $50 an hour. Now, one of the challenges we had in the past with this model was they're sold to whānau, some of their whānau, and some of their whānau can't afford these sort of rates. So, and the reason why you want this, like this amount of money, and trust me, you can get this amount of money if you follow our system, but the reason why is because you need lots of profit on that per hour so that you can invest it into paid advertising. For those that have a business or are a bit more advanced on this call, so this is about growing your profit margin. You want to pick products that have a high profit margin so you can use some of that profit margin to reinvest into paid advertising. And if you can work that formula out well, so you've got enough margin to afford that, you can scale your business very quickly online. Because the challenge is, how do you afford paid advertising? That's one of the big challenges in e-commerce. I'm going to show you how to do it. So what I'm saying there in summary is, find a product that that you can sell to people that can afford higher amounts. That generally is not our whānau. That's targeting others. yeah, park hours, who can afford it. Okay, cool. So that's the hack. That's identifying something you do well. The next step, remember in our system, is to write down each step in your process as if you're teaching your whānau, like baking a cake. This is what a process looks like. Just get a piece of paper out. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just start breaking down your steps. Step A, step B, step C, and writing them all down and breaking them out. That way, this is what you've got. This will be your core thing that you're going to sell. And this is what your customers want from you. They want from you to get them from where they are today, which is point A, to point Z. And every step in your process helps them to get to point Z. So that's why you want to know this. Okay. Once we've done that, then we're into researching competitors. I want to make the point that what a customer is. There are customers is, and this is a very important distinction, customers pay you money. And the reason why people get confused, there are two types. Sometimes you have users of your service. So, but the customer isn't the user. So for example, some people might be like us in coaching, and the customer is actually a government contract. But for our whānau, they're the users. So when it comes to analyzing and understanding who the customer is, always follow the money. That's the person that you want to build the relationship and get more of. You want to do a great service to the users of your product or service, but it's the customers that you want to focus in on and get more. And so when you have a customer, they pay you to do a job. You're trying to understand what the job is. For those that are in business, another way to say that is your customers pay you to solve their problems. But I like to use it in another way, which is the problem they got is they're looking for some solution to a job. So that's important distinction, because you're going to come back and go, what is the job does my customer wants me to do? Okay, and the solution I've got is when I do research, this is one way. There are many ways, but this is one way that I do it. I go to a site called Udemy, and I'm going to show you now. You go to a site that's Udemy, and you search for competitors who are similar. So Udemy is a website that has lots of training programs on it. It has, I'll tell you in a minute, it has huge amounts of training programs. The link is in the search bar. You just got to put whatever it is that your area, it might be massage, it might be like I've just done here, baking, and up will pop a range of different competitive products. So these are online training programs of someone else training their customers on how to do something. And if I take this one, the number one that pops up, it's about baking sourdough bread. And people are paying $29.99, 30 bucks for that. And they've had 3,278 reviews. So it's pretty safe to say that they have doubled that, and because not everyone leaves a review, double that in sales at 30 bucks. So that's a really good earn, right? So if we go in, this is how I do my research. So we've gone into Udemy, we've put in the search word relevant to our product or service. That brings us to this page. This page is our competitor, how they sell their product or service. And there's lots of gold on here. On here, you'll see they've got the heading, a sub-description. You'll see they've got some reviews. You'll see who it's from. You'll see that it's in multi-languages. This one's in English. They've got some previews of it. You can see what you get all down here. You can see what you learn about. These are all very important because you want to replicate. you want to copy this whole page. This will be your website. Does that make sense? And this is a description as well. And there's lots of gold in here. So when I'm researching, I come and research these things. I find a competitor's course that's similar to what I do. The first thing I go to is their 2, 3, 4-star customer reviews. So let's do that. Okay, the reviews is up here. See all these stars? Their customers purchased the product after using this training program. They write a review out of 5 stars. So there are all these different, there's 5-star reviews here. There's 4 stars, there's 3 stars, you know, and so forth. I look at the 2 stars, the 3 stars, and the 4 stars, and I look at what the competitors' customers are saying that they would have given this training program a 5-star if only they had just done this thing. Very, very important. Let me give you an example. So I'm clicking on the 4 stars, which is the 4 stars reviews. You can see there. I'm going and I'm reading what their customers say. I couldn't make this good sourdough. Okay, that's not much knowledge there. The next one I'm going, okay, this is perfect. More information about what time of the flour can be the best. I'm from India and the flour can be different. So I think they're meaning about flour quality, what type of flour quality. I would cut and paste this comment into a document. So I would be learning about why what things are my competitors' customers not happy about. And the reason why is because you're going to solve this. This is how you compete. This is what makes you different and better than your competitor. As you're researching, go, well, if their customers are not happy with that, I'm going to solve that. And then when I compete, I can say I solved those things that my competitor doesn't. So you want to go through and you want to capture all these. I'll just keep reading through. It's taught me the importance of measuring everything else. So that's great. It is, this customer here has said what's really important to him. And so you need to make sure that when you do your process, A to Z process, you need to make sure you have this in it. You have to teach them about the importance of measuring everything out. So now we're seeing some really important information. This is what makes your product sell, like have a strong sellability. And so forth. You would continue and walk through this and you would capture them in all. And I would capture them into a document. And I've given you one example here. I'm going to share this document to you. It's a tool, it's got a template, and it's got all the areas. So as I go through, it's a Google Doc for those that don't know, I would be researching some key things. If we go backwards, we look at this page here, I'd be going, this is created by, that's my competitor's name, Teresa L. Greenway. I would put that there. That's who my competitor is, because I'm going to research her later. Right now, I would get the Udemy link. So I would go back to this, and in the search bar up the top here, that's the URL bar that's called URL. I will copy that bit of writing there, and then I would go over into this other document and I would click on the cell and I would paste it, Control V. So then I know, and later on, of how to go back to the same competitor, because I'm going to do this with a number of competitors so that I learn about how to strengthen my product, how to make a really good product. So I need to be able to come back. I'd add that in there. The next thing I'd go to is headline. Headlines are hugely important, hugely important. So if this person is one of the top that came up, top sellers, top competitors, and I know she's top because when I researched baking, she popped up the top. And because she's the first thing that's shown, that tells me she's the computer algorithm or the software, the Google, the Instagram, the Facebook puts the first one up that's shown because they're the top person. So I don't need to think anything. I just got to research and describe what I'm most interested in coaching about, and then that'll show me the top competitors. The computer does the hard work, or the software does the hard work, or the social media platform does the hard work. And what I would be doing is going, okay, this person, this competitor is doing a lot of things right. One of the big things is headlines. Headlines is massive. So if I go and look at what headline they're using, I copy and paste that. #1 sourdough bread baking 101. Another way that what I would do is a #1 rewana bread baking 101, for example. I just need to tweak it. I don't need to change it too much because I know that is strong. So I would cut and paste. I'd copy that. I would bring it over and I would paste it into this cell here where it says headline. Then I would go to the sub headline, which is a description, more description about what this course is about. I would cut and paste that over to this document. There it is there. Now, the next thing we want to look at is what are the key benefits or features that they're selling in their sales material? That's here. That's in this next box, what you'll learn. You'll see all these ticks. That's really, really important. There's a reason why this, under the headline, comes these key features. Because when someone is searching for a product and wanting to buy, these are the things they're looking for. So you want to copy your competitor and you want to put it into your research box. And what we can see is how to mix and fold dough, a gentle method of developing gluten, which does not entail kneading. So that's what she's saying is really, really important. That's why she's written that there. She's saying this is important. All these things are really important. So we want to copy and pimp. Copy this, pimp it a little bit, change 20%. That's relevant. So where it's got sourdough, we want to put rewana bread, fried bread, or whatever it is. This is just an example. This could be fishing, could be whatever. It could be security, could be anything you're interested in. We're copying and pimping our top competitors. The second thing, so that's, you do that for your main benefits. So this is how I would do it. I would do all that research. Remember, so we started at looking at our competitors' research. So this is this whole stage. You would go and do this for a number of competitors, maybe 5 to 10. It's a great exercise to do because you would learn about what you need to make your product like. You would learn from your competitors' customers what not to do and what you must have in there and how to make yourself different to them. That you must, like the competitor's not doing this, so that you need to have it. So that doing it 5 to 10 of those competitors, this is worth gold because it'll make your life a lot easier when it comes to selling your product or your coaching services. And then you want to capture all that other information. You're not going to use it right now, but you're going to use it in the Kahal program, which is in 3 weeks' time. So you still want to keep a copy of all this other information, which I talked about. It's just that if we're there, the method is you may as well capture it now, make your life easier later on. So we're just putting it all there. We might not use it straight away, but at least we got it captured for later on. Cool. So that is the coaching service, researching competitors. Next stage. Next stage is this, which is frequently asked questions. So we know that the frequently asked questions is the problems that your potential customers are looking for answers from. So they search Google and they put in a question because they're looking for answers to it. Remember what I talked about earlier on, which is you use Google University or YouTube University and you add your questions into it and it pops up with the answers. Okay, you want to do the same thing, but you want to do it from research purposes. These are really, really important because you want to solve these questions. And then that's part of the reason why your potential customers will choose you over a competitor, is because you have the answers to these questions. So the key is about how do we find the key questions. Another way to say that is if you've been in business and you're a bit more advanced is we are searching what are the key problems that our customers have that we can solve, and that will differentiate our product or service in the market. And we do that. The old way to do that was to do interviews with customers face to face, and they're called focus groups, and you do focus groups to understand that, or you do customer surveys. Another one, there's another way to do it, a faster way, and this is the advantage. One of the hacks is you go to this website called Answer the Public. In the search bar of Answer the Public, you would put down the area that you're coaching in. So I've done it, baking a cake, for example. I've already done it. And it up pops all the top questions. It looks at Google, this website, and it finds all the top questions. And it breaks them down into, these are all the top why questions. Why is baking a cake a physical change? Why baking powder cake? Why baking a cake is a chemical reaction? Why baking a cake? So those are all the why questions that people are searching for answers from. So we can look at those and go pick out a couple and then go add that for us to solve in our product. Let's go back. So what we want to do is in the search bar of this website, we want to put down whatever it is, the area that you're going to do coaching in, whether it's massaging, whether it's some sports, whether it's relationship advice, whether it's communication, whether it's baking, whether it's, whatever it is. And then you'll find the top questions. You want to find 10 to 15 questions. And it's real simple. You just go here and, for example, how is baking a cake a chemical reaction? For some reason, people are want that answer. So you might talk about how baking a cake is a chemical reaction. How many degrees for baking a cake? So that's talking about temperature. You would want to have those answers. I would just copy that question. I would write it into my research doc. And if I show you down here, we've got a tab for those. Which I'll have to add in there because it's not in this one. Oh yeah, frequently asked questions. So you would add that, you would write that in. So which is, let's just start so you can see how to start baking a cake. So I would go to my research doc. How to start baking a cake. And you would just add those in and you would have 10 to 15 of these. So, and then when you're doing your process, going back to that, all those steps from A to Z, you want to make sure that along that journey, you're answering these questions. Then it makes your product more compelling because these are the top questions. Google's already done the hard work. And to demonstrate how many people are searching for these questions globally, you will give you a sense of, for example, what baking oil. We click in further, and it will tell you that there have been 309 million research results. There it is there, searching for this question, what oil for baking a cake? So my point is, this website has done all the hard work to find what are the top questions that have been asked globally for that question. And it has also given us, in that first line there, the answer. Hi, the person that's got their sound on, can you mute, please? So there's the answer to the question, the most searched question about what oil for baking a cake. So you want to do that, and this will be kept later on because you'll use it in your advertising to generate customers to come to you. You'll use it in your coaching as sound bites to communicate to your client, to position yourself as an expert in this niche. You'll also use it later on in your social media. So you want to have all those down. So that's the frequently asked questions research. Then we are down to almost there, Whānau. We've got 2 more slides. Down to the coaching, you identify the smart cuts that you use. The way that I do this is to write down the 3 problems that you had when you were doing your process. So if it was baking a cake, think back, what were the 3 big problems I had? Oh, it was putting too much ingredients in, or it was too hot, or I made some sort of mistake. You want to write those 3 problems down, and then you want to find your solutions to them. You want to save those into your research document, which is here. The top 3 problems that you solve and the solution for it. These will all be used later on when you get to the Kahal challenge. You'll be using it in your copy and in your advertising, in your social media. Okay, now that we've been through that whole process and we've done all this research and we learned from our competitors about how to strengthen our product and make our products, which is our coaching services, really good. Now it's about practice. And then that's where we're filming ourselves, walking through that process of step A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. There's some key things here. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about being perfect. We're just doing it so that you can learn to break down your step by step into smaller bits. So by going through it, the only way to do this I've found is you've actually got to walk through and film it. And then suddenly you see, oh, actually, I should have explained that a little bit better. And I should have explained that. And you craft your process that you're going to sell. So you're going to record that on short videos. Each step is no more than 10 minutes. Of you explaining step A should be no more than 10 minutes. Step B should be no more than 10 minutes, and so forth, all the way through. When you're doing these videos, these are the most 4 important questions. I learned this from guys that have helped entrepreneurs make video training programs. And they work with over 1,000 entrepreneurs to help them teach. And their methodology is these 4 questions. You need to answer them in your videos that explain your process. What are we going to learn at this step in your process, step A? Why is this thing that we're going to learn important? What will happen if you skip this part of step A? And then once we've done that, now we're going to teach you how to do step A. And if you have a look, this is what I've done in this program so you can see what it's like being used on yourself. So you're experiencing it. I talked about what are we going to learn right up the top. If we go back, these are the things we're going to learn. We're going to drop in, even down to these specific 6 steps. And then as I got in more granular, these are the things that we're going to learn about. So I'm using that process. You've got to use that same process too. It works. So we don't have to overthink it. I talked about why it's important. I explained it at each of those steps. And then I talked about some of the things, if you didn't do it, what will happen. That's it. that's the summary of it. So if we go through, this is finding a coaching service and developing a coaching product. And coaching, remember, is helping someone or customer get from where they are today to where they want to be in the future, which is point A, today, Z, future. And then we walk through about identifying something that you will do well in, that you enjoy is the right area. We gave some hacks about that. Then we worked out we have to write each step down in your process so that you can repeat it when you're teaching others it, so that you can really hone what you're offering so that the customer has really good value. We talked about researching competitors and learning from those who are already successful, who are already making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, learning from them what they're doing and copying and pimping. We learned about researching frequently asked questions so that we can find other problems that we can solve in the use of our process. Along doing our process, we can have answers to those frequently asked questions. We also identified the smart cuts that you do to solve those key problems. That's the hidden gold. That's the secret sauce. For example, the smart cut, if you're going fishing, might be some bait that you use for the type of fish, or it might be the type of lure that you use, or whatever it is. That's the key. That's a huge thing that'll drive your profits of why people. And then you're going to practice filming by yourself. Film yourself going through that. So the last thing is, now that we've done all that, that's the summary of this one method. Plan your time. If this method interests you, plan and focus your time in your calendar. That's the first step you must do. And then the program starts October the 3rd. So you need to work out doing all these things that I've just talked about over the next 2 weeks. Email, I want you to reach out to us via this email address, kahao, and I'm just going to put that into the chat, but kahao, which is KAHAO @twh.co.nz. And then my team will send an email reply back with the link to this video and a copy of this presentation. You can review all of it and then complete the actions in the next 2 weeks. So this summary of what I know, it's a lot. I tried to move through as fast as I can. Normally I take teaching this maybe a week. You've just had the accelerated version to go through. If you choose this way, this is one of the methods that I recommend that you go through. Let me just switch that off. I'll stop recording.